Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again. This is Rebuilding Hockey Town. We are halfway through this season as defending Stanley Cup champions in first place in our division. But we have some questions about our roster. Of course, at the moment, Nico Hischier is out due to injury. But the big question is, what do we do with Dylan Larkin? What do we do with Alex Formenton? Now, Dylan Larkin is one of the big reasons as to why we won the Cup last year, and for that, despite him only having 29 points, I plan on keeping him in the fold for at least the rest of this year. But Alex Formenton, who you can tell I switched to a grinder from a playmaker, that's because I'm going to give him another month. He gets 1 month to prove that he is the guy. 1 month to the trade deadline. Now is his time to prove himself. I also switched Robert Thomas to a grinder. He wasn't getting that many points as a two-way. So we want to try that out. Alex Formenton gets a second chance. I've been not necessarily criticized, maybe called out, a step below criticism, for giving up on players too early. I want to give Formenton a chance. Now, another thing that you guys brought up, somebody wanted to see Cal Foote versus Nick Hague. Somebody else wanted to see how Nolan Patrick compares to Nico Hischier. So Cal Foote, in fairness, is up to an 89 overall at 23 years old. And despite being listed as a two-way, you look at those stats, he would probably be better served as a defensive defenseman. And a pretty good one at that, although the stick-checking category is pretty low. He has 8 points this season. He's a +5. His career high total is 17 points. And I can tell you right now, compared to Hague, he takes less penalties, despite only having a 78 in discipline. We get a look at Nick Hague, who has been on our top line, our top D pairing all season. Also an 89 overall at 23 years old. We couldn't have gone wrong with either guy, and he is an ultimate defensive D-man at this point. He's got the physical category. He's a great skater. 97 stick checking, for an example. The only downside is the 66 discipline. So he does get into penalty trouble, but he has 11 points on the year. He's a +30. His career high point total is 11. So he's already doing pretty damn good this season. So that was the first comparison. The other comparison is Nolan Patrick. Now, I will, of course, show you Nico Hischier. He is our most valuable player, along with Hronek. A 91 overall at 23 years old, as you get a look at the stats there. 99 passing. And, of course, has been a beast for us this season with 46 points. He has a career high of 61 that he set last year. Nolan Patrick on the Carolina Hurricanes is, drumroll, a 93 overall at the same age. You get a look at some of the stats. An insane puck skills category. An insane shooting category. Definitely a power forward with the 89 checking. He's a damn good player. 32 points on the season with a career high, though, of 48. Now, is that because of the power forward player type? I'm not sure. If you change him to a playmaker or a sniper, would he have a better point production? Potentially. But he has turned into a beast this year as well. So Hischier versus Patrick, Hague versus Foote, two decisions we had to make in that first year draft. I really don't think we could have gone wrong either way. Now, I was content to show you guys that really quick because we do have a trade we need to make. We have an unsigned player here in Wisniewski, who's a 79 overall at 20 years old. He was a second-round pick, 35th overall in the 2020 draft. Joey Wisniewski. We need to get him into the lineup down in the AHL. And to do that, we are going to have to let go of somebody. I don't know who I want that to be, though. It might honestly be a forward, and we'll just have an abundance of defensemen. And actually, you know what? Yeah, let's get rid of Lapalainen. We can get rid of Lapalainen for nothing. We'll actually send him to Carolina, and that way we can sign Wisniewski and get him playing down in the AHL. So can we get a 7th round pick for Lapalainen, hopefully? Yes, we can. Beautiful. I didn't want I didn't want to get anything for him. Unfortunately, that pissed off two players that we don't exactly want to piss off, Owen Tippett and Rasmus Dahlin, and our locker room chemistry did fall a point. So maybe that'll be the catalyst for us just declining. I genuinely didn't even think to check, like, oh, maybe they're friends with Lapalainen. It was just kind of a throwaway, but whatever. I mean, my God, could you imagine if we just completely decline in quality because I traded a guy that the game signed to an AHL deal for me, and I signed him just so I could eventually trade him? That would suck. That would suck. But really quickly, like I said, let me get Wisniewski into the lineup down in Grand Rapids. Nico Hischier's only out for another week, so Vic Marsh won't be hanging around on the main roster for that much longer. We will actually send Rouleau back to junior. Actually, we'd end up... Wow, really? Even with Backus on the main roster, we'd end up being under the cap. Are you serious? Can I just send down Wisniewski? All right, so Rouleau stays. Works for me. Works for me. So, Joey Wisniewski. We need to get you into the lineup here. It's going to be for Kalle Eklund. Unfortunately for him, he's been playing for the majority of the season. But Joey Wisniewski in the lineup. We'll immediately put him on the second pairing with Dmitry Frolov. And that team's looking good. And actually, what I'm going to do is put Bouchard down there. Let's have Frolov, Jokiharju, Wisniewski, Bouchard. There we go. That team still looking pretty damn good. Let's get into the sim. We're keeping Formenton for the moment. And, of course, the alternative, and you know what, before we even get into the sim, I am worried, though, that we lost that locker room chemistry point. You guys have had a fascination, rightfully so, with Eli Tolvanen ever since we saw that he scored 69 goals in an AHL season. He is currently leading the NHL in points, 56 points in 49 games, but I genuinely don't understand how. 92 offensive awareness is great, but only 82 passing. The wrist shot's okay, but it's not amazing. But you look at his point total. I genuinely don't understand why he has turned into such a beast. But he is the guy. While there are plenty of other players I could look at, maybe even from within our own system, calling up Vic Marsh permanently, if we chose to trade Formenton, he is the guy. If we make a deal and we get rid of Formenton, we will go and acquire Eli Tolvanen, which, again, we have plenty of options. There are other guys we could go out and try to sign. There are plenty of options, and certainly assets and being able to afford higher-end players isn't exactly an issue for us at this moment. We have turned this team into a well-oiled machine at this point, no doubt about that. As Nico Hischier hopefully isn't fully healthy. Okay, he's not, so we can at least play this game against the Minnesota Wild and Eli Tolvanen, and we won a barn burner. An absolute barn burner. Well, I think my concerns about the lost locker room chemistry points, not exactly necessary. 4-0 so far in this episode, and I don't think Hischier is fully healthy. Even still, not fully healthy. So we will keep Vic Marsh in the lineup. How is Formenton doing? He had 9 goals and 8 assists. He has added 2 goals and an assist ever since. And then Robert Thomas, 4 goals and 11 assists. Not too bad. Ian Scott still the starter. Hischier, indeed, not fully healthy. So he'll sit out this next game against Chicago. And then we'll have to get him back into the lineup. So let's see here. Can we get the win? I believe we did. I believe we were on 83 points. Hischier, fully healthy, as we now get to play Nolan Patrick and the Carolina Hurricanes next. But, see, this is tough, because Vic Marsh has already gone up an overall point, and he has 6 points so far since he's been called up. Damn. The pressure is on Alex Formenton, to the point where it might even make sense to just get rid of him now, but he is friends with Garou, Scott, and Hronik. Shit. Well, the good news is Vic Marsh is 19. right? So sending him down here won't cripple his, his confidence or the chemistry that he has. Man, we still have so many tough decisions to go, too, with what we end up doing with this team. So many tough decisions still coming, especially because of the quality of prospect we've acquired after trading away certain guys. Vic Marsh has actually jumped to an 83. Not to an 83. He's a third-line forward now. Oh, my God. All right. I believe I need to call up somebody else cap-wise here. Damn. I already have David Backes, but we still have so much cap space. All right. I need to do something here. When's our next game? I think we have a day or two. Oh, boy. All right. Well, do I just get rid of Formenton now? And then not even pick up Eli Tolvanen, but go with Vic Marsh? That's crazy. Anyway, what I want to do here, I'm going to trade Adam Ernie. Yes. How's he doing in the AHL this year? How's he doing? He hasn't played, apparently. Alright, well, I need to clear him out so I can sign another guy to a Backes-like contract so I don't have to worry about the cap. So that's the first thing on the agenda here. That is the first thing. Can we get a 4th round pick? Yeah, we'll definitely be able to do that. Let's tack on a 6th as well. Send Ernie back to Tampa. No, the 4th rounder didn't go through. A 5th and a 6th. How about that? There we go. All right. So he is off to wherever. Edit lines. We are going to have to put somebody in down in Grand Rapids. Correct. Yes, we are. That's fine. All right. Who's it going to be? Who do we have for scratches for forwards? Just Par Ackerstrom at this point. So we might need a defensive player to sub in sooner rather than later, unless I do send down Vic Marsh. Which, man, I'm going to have to, because we got to put Hischier back into the lineup. And you factor in potentially acquiring Eli Tolvanen. So, yeah, we have no choice. Vic Marsh has to be sent back down. Let's look at veterans here that aren't going to ask to play. Is this Trevor Smith? It is. Trevor Smith. Eric Fair. Let's go give Eric Fair a pretty ridiculous contract. Now, it's got to be a little bit down just for a little bit of cap management, and I think we already have a max deal. But let's see if Eric Fair accepts that. I mean, like he won't. So we got to wait for Fair to accept that. Hopefully he does before we play our next game against Carolina. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to scratch somebody, which is going to suck. Ah, fuck it. We play Carolina immediately. Shit. All right. Well, who's going to be pissed off at getting scratched? Or I send down Vic Marsh and call up Ackerstrom and he sits. That's what I'm going to have to do. That is what I'm going to have to do. All right. Well, let's do that then. So Vic Marsh in exchange for Par Ackerstrom. There you go. Vic, I am sorry. You should be a great player for this team moving forward, but it wasn't your time. And directly we replace Marsh's time with Hischier. And there we go. And then we drop Dahlin back down to the second line. Everything's good. Perfect. And we kept the power play lines the same. And then down in the AHL, I'm actually going to go best lines. And then we're actually good. That's everybody, right? Yep, nobody's scratched. Perfect. That is everybody. Power play lines have been changed, unfortunately, so somebody who I'd prefer to be on the power play or PK lines, that just got affected. But I will try to, I mean, if necessary, if I see that they're struggling or something, I'll go back and change the lines. But let's swap those two around again. It puts Brent Perron into the lineup. Do we want Perron in, or was there somebody else? It was him or Yamelin, and we'd rather have Yamelin because of the potential. So there we go. And then goaltenders. Streit is really struggling, and so is Bancroft. Wow, the goaltending down in Grand Rapids has been miserable. We do have David Adams as a fringe starter. So we'll go with Streit. And that's the thing, though. He's been struggling, despite me having the ideal power play lines. So he's just flat out disappointing. That's the only way to go about that, is he has just flat out been a disappointment. Let's go. Let's send down Sundstrom, I guess. Can any of you guys play center? Can people play center? Kelly Chow can play center. Let's have Hagman up there. Beautiful. All right, that team's looking all right. NHL is fine. Formenton still on 11 goals and 10 assists. Let's see here. We still got a little bit of simming to do. We still got a decent way to go in this episode. The good thing is, of course, we won't have to do a season recap because we're making the playoffs. No doubt about that. We are making the playoffs. We got to sim the next 4 games here. With Ian Scott still between the pipes. We play Nolan Patrick and the Canes. Eric Fair accepted, so that's good. We actually got shut out 2-0 by the Carolina Hurricanes. And now 2 straight losses. Don't do this to me. Oh my God. The second I say, and we're definitely going to make the playoffs, we go on a 3-game losing streak. Thankfully that snapped with a shootout win over Montreal. Still on 87 points, though, this season. So I'm still feeling relatively good. Relatively good. But let's see here. Top line's getting it done. Formenton, 22 points. Thomas is on 17 points now, so he seems to be reacting all right to the grinder player type. Formenton, I think your time's just about up. The clock has just about struck midnight for you, pal. I just need to decide now, Eli Tolvanen or Vic Marsh. That's my decision. And we actually lost again to Nashville. It's tough because Vic Marsh did jump, like I said, to a third-line guy. So he would react pretty well to be called up, And Formenton tore up the AHL, if I do recall. Yeah, he had 72 points last year in the AHL. He has just not reacted well to being at the NHL level. And when you factor in the third line we have here and the progression they could make next offseason, the fourth line, Benoit Giroux actually jumped up to a third line guy as well. So we're going to continue to have to make changes. The fact is, if we trade Formenton for Tolvanen, there's a chance that we don't even keep Eli Tolvanen for the start of next season. That's realistic, because look at who's down in the AHL. Hagman, Pascale, Marsh, Kelly Chow is half decent. Joel David is more than decent. I think if we do anything, man, it's call up Vic Marsh. I know you guys really want me to get Tolvanen, but I'm not sure how much sense that makes. I'm not sure. Because, Jesus, you could even... Actually, Larkin's really picked it up lately. So, I think Giroux still has PK time, correct? Yes, he does. Okay. Has he complained about ice time lately? No, he hasn't. Okay, so that's good. I have to... If I get rid of Formenton, it has to be for Vic Marsh. I can't bring in somebody else, man. I can't. Because we need Vic Marsh at the NHL level. Shit. Man, this is tough. Do we sacrifice Vic Marsh's development to bring in Eli Tolvanen? I don't know if we do. And then Alex Formenton is just continuing to not get the job done. Flat out. So, with that said, what is Formenton's value? It's half decent. So, Minnesota, right? Minnesota, home of Eli Tolvanen. Tolvanen actually has a higher value than him. Damn. Do I get Eli Tolvanen for the rest of the year and potentially sacrifice Vic Marsh's progression because he's down in the AHL? I mean, look at Vic Marsh's value, man. Do I have him sit in the AHL for the rest of the year? Shit. And then you factor in Benoit Giroux. And now he's a third line forward sitting on the fourth line, but at least he has the PK time. All right. Do I go for Tolvanen? To appease you guys, do I go for Eli Tolvanen? I just don't understand how he's doing as well as he is with his stats. I don't get it. The funny thing is, oh man, I could even play him on the fourth line and call up Giroux to the second line and put call up Giroux to the third line and put Svechnikov on the second line. But we're winning, so do I want to make changes? Damn, that's the thing. I'm fine with trading Alex Formenton because I genuinely believe he's not the left wing of the future of this team. It's just if we pick up Tolvanen, that means Vic Marsh stays down in the AHL, right? And that's not ideal. That's not ideal. It's also not ideal at the moment to have Benoit Giroux sitting on the third line. So we could... So I could make this trade, have Giroux jump up to that third line spot, just bring the Svechnikov up to the second line. Damn it. I know it's just I know people want me to get Tolvanen. That's all it is. And he's a great player, apparently. But I'm just thinking about who we already have and how long will Tolvanen be on this team, right? That's the question. You know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. Vic Marsh, with his value, he hasn't complained yet about ice time. Neither has Benoit Giroux. Let's see if we can work out a deal for Eli Tolvanen. Let's see. Why not? We have plenty of picks. That's certainly not an issue. And as it is, it's going to take 2 second-rounders and a little bit more to get this deal done. Let's try a 5th-round pick from Carolina. Will that go through? Just a little bit low. I'd rather have another 5th-round pick than bump it up to just a 4th. So Tampa's 5th. Will that go through? I imagine it will. And indeed it did. Your wish is my command. Alex Formenton is out. Eli Tolvanen has joined this team. What will he be able to do? What will he be able to do? Is this the right decision over bumping Svechnikov up? And that's the thing. With Tolvanen, he is listed as a depth guy. So the second Svechnikov or Giroux decide to complain about ice time, I am telling you right now, this will become the 4th line with Tolvanen down on the 4th line. Maybe I should factor Tolvanen. You know, maybe I should value him a little bit more than what I'm saying I do. We'll see. It all depends on how he does and whether or not he can continue to perform at such a high level. But like I said, I'm concerned over the progression of Vic Marsh, and there's a very strong chance heading into next season, once we get to the preseason and we see the progression of all of our players, that Tolvanen simply will become surplus, and we're going to have to get rid of him regardless. But, oh man, do I want this episode to be a marathon, or do we call it there? You know, I think we have to keep going, because otherwise next episode would be pretty short. Let me go to the power play lines really quick. Elias Pettersson has been getting power play time. That's obviously going to change. And I gave him power play time because he does have very good stats, and he's playing on the 4th line. But obviously, he is now going to be bumped in favor of Eli Tolvanen. So let's see. We've made another big move Will it pay off? Our locker room chemistry has dipped a little bit. We've also picked up some losses in recent games. Let's see if we can rebound. And actually, I don't think I set Ian Scott to starter. Let me go double check that. Let me go double check. Locker room chemistry dropped a bit. The episode started off very well with us picking up quite a few wins. But can we rebound from a bit of a slump here in the middle of February? Let's find out. Let's find out. I think we get 2 games here before I got to put Luukkonen back in the goal. We get 3 games, actually, so that's all right. Let's see what we can do here. Eli Tolvanen makes his debut against Washington in a 3-2 victory. All right. Grand Rapids, I'm actually looking at their record. It would be nice if their goalies could start picking up wins. We lose 6-3 to Philly. And I guarantee people right now are crying, trade Ian Scott. But you saw he had over a .930 save percentage still. I don't think it's him. A 6-2 loss to the Bruins. What is going on, fellas? Holy shit. I'm trying to defend you here, but all of a sudden we are really starting to drop points. And I'm getting concerned. I'm absolutely getting concerned. Tolvanen up to 40 goals. I mean, our PK is solid. You know, I set up our PK specifically. We have Larkin, Yamamoto, Lind, and Benoit Garou. Larkin's the lowest guy with a 4-star defensive rating. So it's not our PK, although it might be. I'll go check. Ian Scott has dropped to a 926. Luukkonen is at a 914. Scott, now is not the time to fuck this up for yourself. Now is not the time. Not at all. And our goaltending down in Grand Rapids has been miserable. To the point where I might do something about that and look for a prospect really quick at the deadline. That could happen. I need to go put Luukkonen in for this game against the Panthers. That was the whole reason for me going to look. I'm just slightly panicking. Slightly panicking. Like, we cannot afford to piss away this division title. We cannot afford to do that. So, you know, the Tolvanen move wasn't exactly spur of the moment. I gave Formenton a couple more weeks to try and prove himself, and he just couldn't get it done. But right now, we need a win here, damn it. Against Florida. We got a 10-3 win. Holy shit. All right. That's good. It's very good. Not too bad. 91 points now on the season. Luukkonen. What is Luukkonen listed as? Are you still a backup goalie or are you lower? He's a minor league starting goalie. Hold on, let me put Scott in. Am I allowed to send Luukkonen down to the AHL? I'm not kidding when I say I might bring back Tristan Jarry if I can afford him. I can send Luukkonen down without waivers. So right now, Grand Rapids needs to be better because I want them to make the playoffs to help, you know, certain guys progress. Do I look to bring back someone like Tristan Jarry? I have the means to do it. No doubt about that. You guys saw how many draft picks we still have. There's no reason why we shouldn't. Quickly, let me go look at the AHL stats. By the way, man, Owen Tippett and Owen Tippett, Taylor Hall, now Eli Tolvanen all on the same team. So let's look here. Brock Besser's actually up there for scoring this year. How do you like that? Goaltenders. Goaltenders. The win leader is, if it will load, it is Ian Scott, as you would kind of expect. Save percentage, though. You have Jared Biggs, who's an 86 for St. Louis. Comrie, Tristan Jarry is up there for Washington. Jarry is still the man. Damn. Damn. But you look, I mean, Ian Scott's up there for save percentage, too. But you know what? I want better backup goaltending. And I want Luukkonen to go down and get that extra bit of seasoning. I want him to go get that extra bit of seasoning down in the AHL and to hopefully help them make a playoff push. Let's go reacquire Tristan Jarry. All right, now Adams and Bancroft. I'm gonna look to add maybe Bancroft to the deal. Because then Streit will be the backup. Yeah, so let's look to add Bancroft to the deal, and then Streit will be the backup for Luukkonen, with Adams as the third string. Now, is there anybody else I want to tack onto this deal? I really don't think that there was. I think that we're good. Yeah, we're good. It's going to be just draft picks. Going to be just draft picks. And we have them in spades. Carolina, we know, are a pretty decent team. I'm content with giving up these picks because why not? We're contenders. We don't need them. And like I said, like I always say, we're going to end up with more first. You guys have seen the players that we have in the AHL. We are going to end up with a ton more picks by next postseason. As it is, Washington already have 3 firsts. Oh my god. Alright, I'm going to use a third just kind of as a buffer. Alright. Well, straight up. No. Holy shit. I don't care. I want him. I want Tristan Jarry on this team again. Let me see if I can make it happen. And to have him and Ian Scott as the tandem once again would be insane. I don't know if I can afford him, though. I don't know if I can afford him. He genuinely might be too expensive. He might be. How about the Buffalo pick next year? 4 first-round picks for Tristan Jarry? Damn. And we can't do a non-player involved. And you got to figure we got a decent return for Jarry. We might not be able to afford him. Holy shit. All right. Well, maybe not. Maybe we have to have a backup plan here. I have to tack a goalie onto this deal to make it work. I'll tack Niemi onto it. He has more value than Bancroft. And actually, he's not signed, so that wouldn't work either. We might not be able to afford Tristan Jarry. Never mind, I might have to go for someone else. Maybe that guy on Vancouver. Maybe that guy on Vancouver. I mean, Jarry's right there. It's just that we are starting to slip a little bit. And I'd really prefer not screwing up. So yeah, we can't afford Tristan Jarry unless we give up a big time piece. And I'm kind of content with who we have right now, despite the ridiculousness of the level of prospect that we already have. I don't want to give any of them up. So let me look to see if we can find a cheaper alternative to Tristan Jarry, which is a shame. But you look at the save percentage, 926 for Scott. Jarry has a 931, so does Michael DiPietro in Philly. Scott has the 3rd highest save percentage among starters, behind Holtby and Jarry, 2 goalies, one who we had, and the other who declined to sign for us very early on. And we also had Sergei Bobrovsky at one point. So the level of goaltending we have seen in this series, goddamn. I really want Tristan Jarry back. You guys know I didn't want to trade him to begin with, but we had to see if Scott was good enough to be the starter, and he is. This is more about just really going all out for the cup and also improving our defense down in the AHL. I could give up DeRozier. Now, he is medium elite, but you notice he's that lower level of medium elite. He's not a Rasmus Dahlin medium elite. He could turn into that, but he's 19 at 64 overall. Louis DeRozier. I feel like we could give him up and I'd still be fine, especially with the level of defense we already have. If you look for trade value defensively, he is below Hronik, Nurse, Rolu, I have no idea, Dahlin, Haig, and just slightly above Liljegren. Yeah, he's not going to have a spot here. He's not going to have a spot. As it is, Darnell Nurse is going to be moved out once Rolo is ready. Or Rulu, I have no idea. Sylvan. I can give up DeRozier to make this happen. He's under contract, too. No? How is he not under contract? Oh, they'd have more than 45 skaters. Well, fucking hell. Who is your least valuable forward? Because we could use some extra help down there. Pariarvi would be perfect. Perfect. That's exactly who we need. So we'd have more than 45 skaters, which means then we go to goaltending. And we give up on Bancroft. And now we pile the picks. I still don't know if this will be good enough. This might not be good enough. We might not be able to do this. Our 3 most valuable picks are the first rounders this year. 2 first-round picks, is that enough? No, it isn't. The 3rd first-round pick, is that enough to make this happen? No, it isn't, and it's not even close. They just simply don't want to give up on Tristan Jarry. Shit. Shit. Alright, I don't think we have any way to get him. He's just too far away. He is too far away in terms of value. Unless I give up... Let me give up Bancroft now. Let me give up Bancroft. Let me trade him to Tampa, if we can. They could use an extra goalie. So, 2nd round pick from Tampa. Will that go through? No, apparently not. It looked close, but not close enough. How about we tack on the Carolina 4th? Will that go through? No, it won't. Tampa, you're taking Bancroft. It's going to happen. Just, come on. Let's stop wasting our time here. This episode is becoming much longer than I originally planned. I figured this would be quick and easy. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so Bancroft is out. He's off to Tampa. I'm going to have to go edit the AHL goaltending situation. And then we try to move on. So, Streit is currently the starter with Adams as the backup. Let's go back. Let's go back and talk to Washington. Can we get Tristan Jarry from them? That is the question. They have a great prospect goalie in their system. But can we convince them? This is my ultimate offer here. Can we convince them? Let's find out. 4 first-round picks isn't enough. I meant to go down to add item again. Is 5 first-round picks enough to get Tristan Jarry back? It's not. Alright, well there you have it. It is impossible for us to end up with Tristan Jarry unless we give up somebody who I'm simply not willing to give up. But that's a shame. Let's see who else we can get, because we got to send down Luukkonen. We need that safety net. Not necessarily a safety net for Scott, despite his save percentage dropping a little bit. He was neck and neck with Holtby and with Jarry for quite a while. Well, let's see here. I'm looking for poise rating. And it's funny, Jarry's poise rating is only a 75. So, let's see. Holtby might be an option, but not really. Bobrovsky, not really. Matt Murray, not really. Mackenzie Blackwood would be a decent option. Just pick him up for the rest of the year. Philippe DeRozier, man, he turned into a beast. He's a really good backup goalie, too. 15 games. Chris Dreger in Ottawa, 2 years left at $3 million. That's not bad. Let's see what Chris Dreger's worth. The ultimate backup goalie. Chris Dreger. Oh my god. Alright, well, there we go. We have our answer for who our new backup goalie is going to be. We're going to look to acquire Chris Dreger here. We might, we're not even going to have to give up a first-round pick for this, so there you go. Let's see, will that be enough? Yes, it will. Chris Dreger, the new backup goalie for the Detroit Red Wings. Wanted Tristan Jarry, it didn't happen. I knew we gave up a great player when we gave him up, but that's fine. Dreger is here. It already sent Luukkonen down to the AHL. That is perfect. Do we have anybody up at the NHL level we don't want? Can I send down Rolu now? Yes, I can. We'll send him back to junior. Forwards, we are good. It's just the 2 guys. Actually, we can send down Ackerstrom again and call up Eric Fair to just have him sit there. Beautiful. Let's get the line set one last time and finish up this season. Eli Tolvanen and Chris Dreger have been added for this playoff push. We'll see what can happen. Dreger's had a really good season. He was the starter in Ottawa, but no longer. And Luukkonen, back down at the AHL level, can hopefully lead this team, give this team some consistent goaltending, and lead Grand Rapids to the playoffs. But there we go. We are done. Those are our moves. Let's see if we can make the most of this. Pick our momentum back up and storm our way to the playoffs. It's one thing to make the playoffs. It's another thing to make the playoffs once you're struggling. We still have another month to go in the season. Go figure, yet again, we end up having a marathon episode. That's just kind of how it happens. But let's see here. Let's send the next 4 games. Ian Scott back between the pipes. Let's see what he can do. As I take a somewhat harsh swig of Arnold Palmer. Didn't go down right, but that's okay. We got killed against Winnipeg. I didn't want to say anything until I saw the results of our next 2 games, and those are both wins. We beat Chicago as well. So a rough game for Scott against Winnipeg. But he bounced back with 3 straight wins. That puts us on 97 points. And I should note as well, stealing Dreger from Ottawa, very helpful. Very, very helpful considering they're having a good season. But let's go ahead and see what Chris Dreger can do for us here. His first game as our backup. You're not Tristan Jarry, but that may be a good thing. Maybe you can prove to me that that's a good thing, that you are not Tristan Jarry. Let's find out here. Simming this game against Vancouver, and we lost 6-5 in the shootout. All right. Not necessarily what I was hoping for, but, you know, that's okay. Did I accidentally? Yeah, I accidentally hit roster move, so well. Oh, well, that's okay. Take the long way around to set this lineup. That's okay. And Scott's back in. Is anybody complaining about ice time? No. Just Garu's not happy about me trading away Formenton, which you will get over it. You'll get over it when we win a cup this year. We're not underdogs heading into the playoffs this year. We are the favorites by a very, very large margin as defending champions. But let's see here. Another 4 games for Ian Scott. Can he get some vengeance, some revenge against the Winnipeg Jets, who are a pretty decent team? No, we can't. All right, Ian Scott has no answer for Winnipeg. So you watch. We'll meet them in the finals now, right? As it is officially confirmed that we have made the playoffs. 50 wins on the season. How do you like that? Although we do lose against the Buffalo Sabres, which is a bit of a shame. That is a bit of a shame. So where are we in terms of the President's Trophy race? Because I'm not against giving Ian Scott a bit of time off. We are 10 points clear of the Leafs, who are in second place in the division. But let me take a look here. Oh, wow. Toronto's second best in the league. All right. So, yeah, let's play Chris Dreger for a bit. Let's play Chris Dreger for a bit. And we'll be good to go. So he'll play this game, and then we'll just keep him in as long as we, at least pick up some wins here or there. We pretty much have that President's Trophy locked up, which is pretty sweet. So Chris Dreger, you get some ice time. Hopefully you can become acclimated to life here in Detroit, although this will probably be your only season here. You are pretty much a rental. I think we'll be able to solve whatever goaltending issues we need to in the offseason. It'd be hilarious about time Tristan Jarry becomes a free agent, and he's not out for long, but a neck strain injury for Nicholas Hague. If you couldn't tell, the reason why I played Dreger, maybe to avoid an injury, and then we immediately pick up an injury to Nicholas Hague. Lovely. Can I still call up Sylvan, despite the fact I sent him back down? I'm pretty sure the game allows me to do that. Can I? Yes, I can. I love that. Love that I can do that. So we'll have Sylvan play pretty much in Hague's spot. Why not? I'm not all that concerned about it. So that'll give him PK time, among other things. But we will just, switch him for Darnell Nurse. So there you go. Team's looking all right still. The team is still looking pretty good. We have to edit the old scouting assignment again. I did not expect this episode to turn into a marathon, but it just kind of happened. It kind of happened. The Eli Tolvanen acquisition picking up Chris Dreger, who has picked up 2 straight wins before we suffered a 3-0 shutout loss to the Islanders. Joey Wisniewski goes down to an injured groin. He'll return on the same day as Nicholas Hague, and go figure, here come the injuries. Awesome. So, let's see here. Who gets into the lineup? I think it's going to be Brent Perron that we put into the lineup, and indeed it is. Actually, you know what? Let's just go best lines. That's fine. Best lines here. Frolov up to an 82, by the way. Not too bad. So defensively, it actually puts him and Yoki Harju up on the same line. That's fantastic. I think we're good. I'm just going to keep best lines the same here because it really isn't too big of a factor. The only scratched player is Ackerstrom. So that's good. That's good. The teams are looking good. Actually, what's Grand Rapids' record? Up to 33 wins. All right, not too bad. That might change here after they just played that game, and indeed it did not. We get an overtime win against Buffalo. So Dreger. Let's just keep playing Chris Dreger. We'll get Ian Scott. What looks like a trio of games here once we hit April. But aside from that, Dreger is our guy. As 2 players are now healthy, we'll just make sure that they're not fully healthy here before we play the Avs. I don't want Hague to lose anything, and we're good. We are good. 5-3 win against Colorado. We are on a very impressive 110 points, 54 wins. Did I expect 54 wins when we made some of the tough decisions that we did in the prior offseason? Not necessarily. We had some extremely tough decisions, man. Still, and I still don't know if I made the right choice in a lot of those instances. You know, there were some extremely tough choices that we were forced to make in the previous offseason. But from the looks of it, it all seems to have worked out. So for that, I am grateful. And of course, when we take a look at the player stats, which, to be honest, I might just wait until the end of the playoffs. I think I'll look at the end of the playoffs to see, okay, we'll look at the awards first to see, here's who won the scoring race, and then we'll look at everything. We'll see who won the Calder and all that. I think I'm going to postpone that, because this episode's gone on long enough as it is, and, well, maybe not. I guess I'm already going to look at my player stats. I might as well. Whatever. If this episode's an hour, so be it. So be it. All right, back-to-back wins, or three straight wins for Dreger, I should say. That puts us on to 114 points. The President's Trophy has been locked up, as you would expect. So, yeah, because I'm going to want to look at these player stats for sure. For sure. Dreger's actually up to an 87. Well, how do you like that? Looks like we have a pretty damn good backup goalie in case Ian Scott crumbles under the pressure. Which, I hope that's not the case, considering the amount of faith I have put into him here. But you never know what will happen. Scott will play these next 3 games. Dreger will play the last one before the postseason. We'll be playing Nolan Patrick and the Carolina Hurricanes. Back-to-back wins for Scott. We're going to lose to Columbus, though, because I said something positive. Or not. How do you like that? So, we're going for 60 wins. Did I think we'd have a 60-win season this early on into this series? Absolutely not. But there's a chance, and Chris Dreger could be the guy to do it for us. So let's see. Let's see here. And we're going to have to double check too. Actually, here, let me check the standings for Grand Rapids. Are they in contention? And they're in a wild card spot. 1 point back in Milwaukee as well. So I think we pulled the trigger at the right time, putting Luukkonen back into the AHL, because there is a chance they could make it. But let's see here. Against Carolina for our 60th win. I don't give a damn about scouting. And there you go. A 3-1 win against the Hurricanes. 60 wins, and we play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. How do you like that? 60 wins for this team. Incredible. Eli Tolvanen led the team with 83 points. Of course, most of that was done elsewhere. But as you get a look at the stats, we finished with 122 points, 10 wins higher than the second place Blues. The Columbus Blue Jackets finished with 68 points. We had a 122, 74.4 point percentage. That is insane. Goals for per game, we were first place in the league with 3.45. Only a little bit over a handful of teams averaged 3. But yeah, pretty prolific offense. And our defense, actually not the best. That belonged to the Dallas Stars. But goals against per game, second place in the league, isn't too bad. Our power play was up there, 4th best in the league. That is awesome. Minnesota's, I bet, dropped off once we acquired Tolvanen. And then our penalty kill. Our penalty kill was middle of the road, 81%. A little bit disappointing, but a lot of high penalty kill percentages. Definitely. So I don't feel too bad about that. 31, 9-1 on the on home ice. 29, 11-1 on the road. An 8-2 stretch heading into the postseason. That's what I'm talking about. We have momentum on our side. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats, right? We're already here. Eli Tolvanen, 83 points in 84 games, finished as a +17. Owen Tippett, nearly a point a game player, 81 points in 82 games. Only 69 points, a very sexy 69 points for Taylor Hall. He kind of dropped off a bit, but we're going into the playoffs. I'm feeling pretty good. Rather have him on my team than not. You have Philip Hronik, 67 points as a defenseman. Nico Hischier, 65 points in 75 games is fantastic. Jonathan Dahlen with 59 points. Kailer Yamamoto on the third line, 53 points, not too bad. Sariarvi with 48, 46 for Larkin, 44 for Liljegren, 39 for Svechnikov, he kind of slowed down, 38 for Pettersson, 32 for Lind, 26 for Giroux, 22 for Thomas, 19 for Dahlen, Haig with 17 points, Darnell Nurse, Vic Marsh had 6 points in 7 games. That is pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. Goaltending, 64 games this season for Ian Scott, 46-14 record with a .928 save percentage. You see Dreger with a .922. Luukkonen had a .914 save percentage at the NHL level. He currently has a .925 in 19 games at the AHL level. Not the best record, though. They are still struggling, and they might struggle to make the playoffs. And you know what? While we're here, their season isn't over yet. But leading scorer, Stuart Pascali, 65 points. And a couple of guys who, of course, don't belong to the franchise. Or they do belong to the franchise, but they're not going to factor in to our future. Kirill Kaprizov leads the league in points. Zach Smith in second. It's actually kind of a close race. But at the NHL level, was it a close race? It was hopefully not. I keep forgetting. It always switches back to Detroit. I'm like, wow, we really cleaned up there. But we still did. Eli Tolvanen led the league in points. His former line mate, Mikael Granlund, I should say, didn't do too bad. Owen Tippett was up there. Not too shabby. Jason Robertson. Wow. Good season for him with the Vancouver Canucks. Goaltending, we already kind of know. Tristan Jarry was up there. Braden Holtby, and Ian Scott for that matter. The rookie race, though, should be interesting. Hopefully. And it's Gabriel Velarde with 69 points, 61 for Asplund. Kailer Yamamoto, 53 points is respectable. One more point than Riley Tufte down in Tampa. Well, all right then. So there you go. We'll look at the stats, I'll look at the points, and this marathon episode comes to a close on a positive note as we are prepared to defend our championship, and that road begins in the first round of the playoffs where we will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll take a look at their team at the beginning of next episode. So until then, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, of course, make sure to hit that like button to help support the channel, help support the video. It is greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already to continue following this series and others. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Rebuilding Hockeytown.